Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to Chai. So today we are going to be inspired in a slightly different way. It's snowing and it's freezing in the Netherlands. It's hot and it's humid in Sri Lanka, tropical Sri Lanka. But there's one beverage that signifies goodness and deliciousness in both places, and it's chai. This is tea, but add spice, milk, and you have a beautiful chai. Chai started as a method of delivering medicine. It's a part of our Ayurvedic tradition. So the spices that give incredible plant antioxidant benefit for human health, in ancient times, they were delivered for children, for adults, through the medium of chai, because everyone loves a cup of tea, and there's no one who loves tea and chai particularly more than my good friend Robert Sinkel. Robert Sinkel, welcome. What's the temperature like in the Netherlands?
Well, slightly below zero, snow everywhere, ice on the canals, so perfect weather for a chai. And
Fantastic. It's all yours.
thank you. Well, hello everyone, wherever you are in the world, whether it's good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Welcome to the chai session. Chai is to be a very special drink. It has a very long history. Goes back, finds its origin in Ayurvedic medicine. But actually, I just got to know it as a really nice drink. It's a drink that combines a lot of things. First of all, a combination of good flavors, but also health benefits, because we can get a close-up of the wheel in front of me. This is what we're going to use in the next, say, 20 minutes to show you how to make two chais. But the first one is a classic masala chai. Now, there's a sort of a contradiction in that, because there is no such thing as a classic masala chai. Masala means spiced and chai means tea. So it's a spiced tea. And wherever you go, people will have their own spice mix. So it's never a set range of spices, but usually it's whatever grows local combined with a bit from outside, but everyone has their own recipe for chai. Chai obviously is a combination. It started out in Ayurvedic medicine as a combination of hot water and spices, and mostly for health benefits. At some point, tea was introduced because tea was introduced by the British. It was also introduced with a bit of milk. So you have the combination of tea, milk, and spices. Now, if you don't like milk or just are allergic to milk or things like that, you can also use oat milk, for instance, or no milk at all. The combination of tea, let's say green teas or oolong teas or high-grown black teas, just with spices and maybe a little sweetener if you prefer, also qualifies as a chai. Because as I said, chai means it's a spiced tea. So it's your choice whether you use milk or soy milk or oat milk. Whether you use a sweetener or not, it's also personal preference. But the first recipe, what I'm going to show you is what is considered to be a masala chai. Okay, we have to make a spice combination first. So what you see here is turmeric, ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg, white pepper, aniseed, black pepper, and powdered chili. In the middle, you see the two beautiful teas that we're going to work with. One is actually tea, the other one is a herbal infusion. The brilliant breakfast tea, which is actually that is the traditional base for a chai tea. On my left, your right, and on the other side is pure peppermint leaves. No actual tea, but dried peppermint leaves that give a strong mint infusion. In this circle, you see citrus, not traditionally used in chais except for cardamom and ginger, but this is fresh ginger, lemon, and orange. And I'm going to show you how to make the first chai recipe, the classic masala chai. Now we start first with tea brewing, but in this case we're going to brew the tea with the spices. Now I've already made a spice mix, which is in this case a combination of ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, black pepper, aniseed, cloves mixed up. I put a little bit in my teapot. I use a brilliant breakfast tea. The tea series range, this is a full-bodied black tea, strong in flavor, strong in mouthfeel. And I'm going to brew that for, let's say 6 to 7 minutes. 6 to 7 minutes brewing time is a bit longer than normal. Normally, you wouldn't brew your tea for 7 minutes, but in the case of a chai, you want a full extraction, maybe even a little too much extraction, because you're going to add milk, this recipe at least. And milk will bring down those flavors again, but still the character of the tea will remain in the chai. This is I'm going to let this brew for a few more minutes. At the same time, I've warmed up some milk. I'm going to cheat a little because 10 minutes before this session, I already brewed the same tea. So you don't have to wait tea to be brewed perfectly. These are my chai mugs. In one, I'm going to gently pour the tea. Now, you want to use roughly 1 part of milk on 4 parts of tea. The spices in the tea fully infused in the water. And now I've warmed up some warm milk. I'm going to. This is about. Right? Can we do a close-up, Bart? You can see it. It's so 1 part of milk on 4 parts of tea, and I haven't used any sweetener yet. You can do this with regular milk. You can do this with condensed milk. In the case of condensed milk, there's already a sweetener in the milk. Now I'm doing it without a sweetener, so you can basically sweeten it to your personal preference. In Amsterdam, whenever people say a chai, it refers to this drink. In India, it's called meter chai. In Indonesia, it's called teh tarik, which means pool tea. But the meter chai thing in India comes from this, because you throw the chai from cup to cup to create foamy layer and change the texture of the drink. They call it meter chai because they say it's not good unless it actually drops a meter. But now I can show you what the throwing is for. Now you see like a big frothy layer on top of the drink, which really brings out the flavor of the tea, the flavor of the spices, and really changes the mouthfeel of the drink. Right. Time to serve it. Now make sure that the last bit is nice and frothy. Top. I use a little bit of the spices I used for the tea, just to sprinkle it on top. Then, because there's tea, milk, is it a slightly heavy touch, I just spray it with a lemon zest and give it some lightness and some extra citrus. So remember, this one is served without sugar or honey or jaggery or whatever type of sweetener you prefer. So pick your favorite. It gives, well, if you make a chai for 4 people at the same time, it gives everyone the opportunity to sweeten it to their own preference. But this is a very comforting, beautiful, but also healthy drink. So classic masala chai.
And we have a question, don't we, Robert, my trans-global co-host? I believe we
Yes.
have a poll. Are you a chai lover? Yes, no, or maybe? Tell us, we're interested. Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. Mostly yes, and some maybe. So, Robert, you've got some work on your hands. You've got to convert those 22% of maybes into yes. Good luck, Robert. And we're on to our next.
All right. Well, for those 21% that is not quite sure yet if you are a chai lover. Now, this was a very sort of classic chai recipe, but I encourage everyone to just open your mind and create your own chai, because there's no set mix of spices that you have to use. So I suggest you start finding your own uh, um, preferred spice mix. I do recommend, especially if you use milk, uh, to start your spice mix combination with a combination of ground dried ginger and cardamom. The combination of both gives warmth, a bit of texture, a hint of spice, but a hint of citrus as well. It really forms a good base to build the rest of your spice mix on. But we're going to do something completely different now. This is chocolate milk. This is actually a drink that is that I usually make for my good friend Saran from Sri Lanka. And I understand that not everyone will have these cups. I'm going to show you a different way of making this. Again, we're going to start with brewing the tea. In this case, pure peppermint. The drink is a combination of peppermint infusion, chocolate milk, a slice of fresh ginger, a pinch of powdered chili, and a pinch of nutmeg. And I'm going to sweeten it with a little bit of vanilla sugar. So it's very different from the previous recipe, but it's also a chai. So I just encourage you to open your mind and see what type of things you can combine to create your perfect chai. And I'm going to have a pinch of the dried chili. And start brewing the tea. Again, this is an infusion, so you brew it at 100 degrees or 95, just off boiling point. And in this case, again, I'm going to make a strong brew, and I'm going to let the whole thing infuse for about 5 to 6 minutes to really extract the full flavor from the peppermint leaves. And so we have a combination in the end of chocolate milk and peppermint. Well, I don't really need to explain the combination between peppermint and chocolate. It's the after eight thing. Always works well, but I'm going to play with that a little as well, because I added some powdered chili. Now, powdered chili is something that is actually the opposite of mint. Mint is cooling, and chili gives heat to it. Both go very well with chocolate. Both go very well with tea. In this case, I'm going to use the peppermint infusion. What I'm going to do now, because again, I cheated a little, because this one I made earlier, it's still hot. I'm going to pour this into the saucepan. this and add one. Again, same thing. Although because this is an infusion, I use a little more of the chocolate milk. In this case, the ratio would be 1 part of milk on 3 parts of infusion. And then I'm just going to use the whisker to create the same foamy top. You don't really need to use the china, but whisking it in the saucepan gives a similar effect. Again, you can see there's a foamy top on the chai. Some vanilla sugar on the side, in case you prefer an extra sweet touch. This is the one more thing, just to add like a hint of fresh spice to it. Just add a thin slice of ginger and a spray of orange zest. Again, orange goes great with both chocolate and mint. Ginger as well. So there's a lot of spices in a different way. Instead of just using the dried spices, I've been using fresh spices like fresh cut ginger as well. The zest of orange also gives a fresh touch to it. You have creamy chocolate thickness from the chocolate milk. The peppermint infusion that is actually going to balance things out. Also with the chili. So this is a very non-traditional chai, but still it is it's a spicy in a way that I think most of you haven't had it yet. But I hope to inspire you to really create your own chai with your own favorite spices, and whether it's milk or chocolate milk or oat milk or soy milk, doesn't really matter, as long as you find your perfect combination with tea spices.
Thank you, Robert. That was incredible. Things with chocolate are really good, but chocolate and tea, that's incredible. That's heavenly. So we have the recipe coming up. We're going to put that up on the Dilmah Tea Club. If you want to check it out, you can download it and hopefully replicate it. But now we have another poll. Did you know that chai is considered to be an Ayurvedic drink? Please tell us. So, Robert, I hope you managed to convince a few of those people who weren't totally convinced about chai. I think you did. That was a beautiful combination. So, okay, so many people did know and some didn't, but thank you for that. So, we want to make the School of Tea sessions, the virtual sessions, better. We've got a lineup of 12 sessions this year and more in between. So we'd really like to know what you think. And this question is, would you try these recipes at home? Or would you like to try these recipes at home? Yes, predominantly yes. Robert, you're doing pretty well. Yeah, maybe, but I'll give it a shot. Couples, one saying no, but predominantly yes. Thank you very much. And those are the results. 85% say yes. So yeah, that's pretty good. So we're talking next month about luxury in taste. We're talking about plant-based goodness. Vegan is on the tip of everybody's tongue. Natural antioxidants, immune boosters, we've been talking about in the tea and health sessions, but there's more. And we want to talk to you about combining deliciousness with good health. And in April, we have tea around the clock, because there's a tea for every mood and there's a tea for every occasion. One for morning, one for afternoon. Tea you can get drunk on this weekend at the Tea Lounge in Colombo with the Arak chais and, of course, Robert's tea mixology. We have another question. Would you like us to continue offering recipes on our webinars, or do you prefer that we post it on the Tea Club page? We'd love to know, again, simply to make sure that we do what you enjoy most. So overwhelmingly, yes. Thank you. Thank you. That's brilliant. Yes. So we had a couple of questions previously, and on this occasion, where can we buy the stuff that's on your webinars? I'm sorry we've been slow in reacting, but not anymore. We have a page on our online shop. It's got a slightly odd name called Webinar Brews. I don't think a webinar can brew, but in this case, you know what I mean. So we're going to have the chai mugs, like what Robert used. We're going to have them on there soon, and all the products that we feature here will be available on the shop, and you can order them straight from the land of tea. So we have one last piece of information. The medals and the Tea Aficionado certification going well. We've had, I think, 180 people who have participated. So that's the status there. And with that, I want to thank you, Robert. I want to tell you, drink plenty of tea, stay warm, and all of you in the Northern Hemisphere, stay warm. And the others, good news, because hot tea opens up the pores and helps you to stay cool. So that's incredible. If you're cold, tea will warm you. If you're warm, tea will cool you. Isn't that amazing? I'll see you next month. Cheers, everyone.